A bipartisan group of lawmakers is taking steps to reform the process that Congress has been using for more than 130 years to certify the results of presidential elections, which nearly failed a year ago. Newsnight's Alex Cameron has the details from our Washington bureau.
The Electoral Count Act of 1887 lays out the process lawmakers here are to follow in certifying the electoral votes of each state, a process that many now question.
And another thing,
former President Trump has questioned why his vice president didn't use his role in the certification process to overturn the election. Last week, former Vice President Pence answered.
President Trump is wrong. I had no right to overturn the election.
Of course, hundreds of pro-Trump supporters tried to overturn the election on their own in a violent attack that the chair of the Republican National Committee last weekend called legitimate political discourse, adding even greater urgency for those who believe the certification process needs some reform now.
I want to see basically the Electoral Count Act that caused basically the insurrection.
Yeah.
And that was not a visit to the Capitol, as an insurrection, attack on the Capitol. I want to fix that.
Among the fixes being proposed, further clarification of the vice president's ceremonial role, narrowing the grounds for challenging a state's electoral votes, and increasing the number of members who have to object to trigger a challenge.
I think it's a mistake.
Oklahoma Senator Jim Inhofe is a big fan of the Electoral College.
I think the Electoral College is the genius of the Constitution.
What he doesn't like, he says, is the idea that because times have changed, the process of certifying the electoral count has to change.
There could be some changes that I look that it would be might be worth considering. But I'm talking about if something has worked for 100 years, it's going to continue to work.
It's not yet clear when the legislation could actually come up for a vote. I'll be following it. From our Washington bureau, I'm Oklahoma's own Alex Cameron.